Hello, everybody. We're going to do a little bit about selections today. So these are basically the selection tools up here on the top underneath the Move tool. You have the rectangular marquee, the elliptical marquee. Underneath that, you have the lasso tool, which is a free-form drawing tool, a polygonal lasso tool, magnetic lasso tool. And then you have the quick selection and the object selection tools under here in the magic wand tool. So those are the basic tools. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the real basic tools like the rectangular marquee tool, but if I do drag out a rectangle, then I get a selection like this. Now, there's many different things I can do with this, just this selection. I could come and give it a real quick hue saturation adjustment layer, right, to change the colors, or any other adjustment layer. I'm going to get rid of that. Or I can put this on its own layer with a Command J, and now it's on its own layer. I'm going to go to my Move tool. Then I can move this, wherever I might want to move it to. And I'm going to go way back. Or I can do a Shift Command J, which is a cut. And those are right up here with layer via cut, and layer via copy, if you don't remember the keyboard shortcuts. But now I have this, and it is just on its own. It's cut it out of that. So if I did have, another layer here underneath and I had it filled with black, this is what that would look like. Okay, so there's a lot of different things you can do with these things. I'm going to get rid of that black once and just put it back where it belongs. And even though now it is on its own layer, I could do a drop shadow, and you can see here it gives this kind of an effect. So that tool, the rectangular marquee tool, works like that. And the same with the elliptical marquee tool, right? It's just an ellipse, and if I hold on Shift, it constrains to a circle. All right, the same exact thing. I'm going to Command D to deselect that. And if I was on the rectangle and I wanted a square, again, I hold Shift to constrain to a square. The other tools here are the lasso tool, and this is a free form drawing selection tool. Same kind of thing, right? You can move this then wherever you want. I did a Command J to put it on its own layer. And the one underneath that is a polygonal lasso tool, which makes polygons. It makes straight lines. You just click and then come back to the beginning, and you have the polygon, and then you can do what you want with that selection. The other tools here, the quick selection tool, I'm going to go down the quick selection tool first. This one you can draw selections, and it tries to get to the pixels that are similar in color. So here I have a selection like this. I'm going to just do a Command J, and that's what that looks like then. Not real good. There's going to be a lot of white in there. So if I did add a new layer and put it underneath, you can see that white that's coming through. So we would have to clean that up a little bit. That is a solid tool to use. I'm going to do this again. And then the other one is the object selection tool. And for this one, let's say I didn't want the whole body. I just want maybe the face. I can draw a rectangle. Let's see what happens here. And then I let go and it works. Okay, it's drawn the face, but it's also got a selection down in here. So that didn't work out too well. So let's say I did want everything. So those are those basic tools. Now the magic wand tool is a little bit different in that it I can just click on the white and it selects all of that white, right? And if I hit delete, then again, it works that way. That's magic wand tool is a good tool for certain uses. Usually if you have a solid color background, it does a pretty good job of getting rid of everything. I'll just go back a couple more here, Command Z, and then do a Command J to make a duplicate layer. What I did want to show you more importantly was the tool that is up here in the Select. And this is Select Subject. Select Subject will force the computer to try to find the selection based on the differences in colored pixels. So you can see here, even in the hair, It's done a pretty good job here of trying to get everything except for that white. Now what you want to do after this point is come up again to select, because you want to refine this a little bit. So you go to select, and then you hold down your shift key and you click on select and mask. Shift, click on select and mask. Now we get this dialog box. Right, it's the refine edge. And we have different views right here. And we can click through these views with the letter F. I'm just going to show them to you. It's marching ants overlay on black on white, black and white on layers, and a reveal layer. And I'm just going to go to each one. Marching ants, the selection, overlay, which gives it a red overlay, on black, which is a good one for something like this to see if there's any white. On white doesn't really help us too much. This is another good one, black and white, so we can see the areas that are maybe not real strong. Just on the layer and then reveal layer. For this one, I'm going to go here to on black so we can see what we're doing. Now, the other thing that you want to do here in this refine edge is, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I can see that I have some problem areas here. If I click and draw, it didn't quite do a very good job with that. But it might up here in the hair. So I'm going to click and drag just a little bit. There, got rid of a lot of that white. And so in here, hair is tough to select. But this, just clicking a little bit. You don't want to do it a lot because then it will look bad. I'm trying to get rid of that white behind it. Now that's not too bad. Now I still have some areas here that I'm going to show you how you can clean up. The last thing you might want to do is decontaminate colors. And in our case there, it's the white background. It's going to try to decontaminate that. You can see it does get rid of a few. I'm just going to leave it right at like 50%. And then here, new layer with layer mask, or put it on its own layer. I'm going to go new layer with layer mask and say OK. All right, so now you can see my mask here. Now, if I do zoom in a little bit and I have some of these problem areas that I'm a little bit concerned with, actually it looks pretty darn good though. I'm going to show you what I can do next time. So again, just to make sure here, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to put it underneath, and I'm going to fill it with black and see what I have. Now, if I did have a dark color in the background, this would be a problem. Well, here I can get my selection back with holding Command and click in the mask. I'm sorry, Command and click in the mask. And now I can take some of my other tools, and I'm going to take my lasso tool. And I want to just get rid of this part of the selection. If I hold down Shift, you can see I get a plus sign. That means it's going to add to a selection. So I'm going to hold down Shift. You can see it's changing up here. They're actually here. So it's add to or subtract from. I want to add to. Hold on. I'm going to show you what add to does. Hold down Shift, click, and you can see it adds to that selection. I'm going to Command Z. Alt is what I want. Alt subtracts from. Or you can just click on this icon right here. And let's say I want to just get rid of this part of the selection, and I want to get rid of this part of the selection here. Something like that. And so now I have that part of my selection now. All right, that's my selection. And so then you have a pretty solid selection now, and I could go to my move tool now, and you guys are going to be making a collage, and I could take it and put it up. Yeah, let's put them in here. And then Command T and Command 0 so I can see my bounding box. And then I could build a collage, something like that, right? Not too bad with the hair. Now, let's work this with a couple of other things. I'm actually going to get rid of him there. Let's go to this orange. Okay, the orange will probably be easy. I'm going to again go to Select, Subject. Takes a second. Looks like a pretty good selection. Might be a little problem here. Good thing is it does not get that shadow along with it. But again, just to make sure, I'm going to go to Select, hold down Shift, and click on Select and Mask. And then I can take a closer look at things. Now I can see here, I do have a little bit of a problem here. Again, I'm on edge detection. I'm just going to click once, Yep, got rid of it. Click in here and drag a little bit, got rid of that. I think the rest of this is probably pretty good. The more you do this, the more it will take things away, so you have to be really, really careful. Okay, so I'm looking at my marching ants now. Good. On black, on white. And then I'm just going to, I could take this, go to my move tool. Oh, I need to output this. So I'm going to output this. I can output to a selection, to a new layer, a layer mask, any of these things. Depends on what I want to do with it. I'm going to put it on a new layer this time and click OK. Now you can see here, it's on its own layer. Go to my move tool, and then I can start to, here, I'll put this orange in here. I'll show you something else I did with this orange just earlier. And then again, Command T and resize this however I want. Okay, the rock, I'm going to do the same thing. Select subject. It's going to take a little while. Let it try to select it. Okay, it looks pretty good. I can see there are some little issues like right in here. If I really zoom in here, so let's say I'm going to go to my lasso tool now, and I'm going to take this part away. There. And this is a good time to just look around. I'm going to add this part here, holding down Shift, and add that to my selection. I'll hold down Shift again, add part of his ear that had let go. And the same thing here, I'm going to hold down Shift, and drag around this part of the ear. All I need to do is come back around and let it go. A little bit of a problem here, you can see. I'm going to add this, Shift. The more you can clean it up right here, the better selection you're going to get. Let's get these pieces there. I'm just holding down the space bar, it gives me my hand tool. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing again. Select, hold down Shift, select and mask. Looks like a pretty good selection. I'm going to take a look at on black. Looks pretty solid, not too bad at all. I could come down and decontaminate that white a little bit. New layer with layer mask. And there I've made a pretty good selection. This used to take a long time to do something like this. But now it's pretty quick in this version of Photoshop. The last thing I want to show you here, two more things. The feet, okay. So let's do the same thing. Select subject. Now I can do this because I have a lot of blue here and the feet are different colors, so it's probably going to do a pretty good job. But when I do zoom in, I can see, okay, yeah, it did mess up quite a bit, actually, quite a bit. So again, I'm going to take my lasso tool. I'm going to add to, holding down Shift. I'm going to add to this and do it free form. A little bit here, I'm going to add to. And then I'm going to hold down Alt Option to subtract from. And I want to subtract from here. And if I don't do a perfect job the first time, it's okay. Let's say I really kind of go off here. That's okay, because then I can hold down Shift and come back and get these other pieces that I had not done too well. Go around that. That looks pretty good. Hold down Alt. I'm going to get this really fast. Hold down Shift. I'm going to add this back. Add that back. Alt again. Shift, I'm going to add this. Alt, take this away. Alt, Command, Alt. Something like that. This little piece I'm not too worried about. And then the same thing over here, just a little one here. Alt. Okay. Select, hold on Shift, select and mask. Okay, now I can see, okay, I got some problems here. This is what I'm on, my edge detection by default. I'm going to click here. Yeah. And I'm going to come over here. Didn't do a real good job. I'm going to click and drag. That made it a little bit worse, so I can't go quite that big. Sometimes you want to resize your brush with the bracket keys. Go around here. That will stay there. And there's a little bit right here. I can maybe get rid of that. Yep. All right. I'm going to make this into a selection. Go to my move tool, and I can move it back in here. Okay. And this way I'm just building a collage. Now the one that will probably be more difficult would be this woman here. I try it, select, oops, I got to get on my right layer, in the background layer, select, subject, see what it does. Yeah, and it's done a pretty good job. I mean, look at this. A lot of stray hair here, but it's done a pretty good job of getting all of those little pieces. If I didn't want this, again, I can hold down, I can go to my lasso tool, hold down Alt, just not even worry about those things. I don't like this little bubble here. I'm going to hold down Alt and just come around straight, something like that. That looks pretty good. Again, I'm holding down my Shift key. I'm going to get rid of this too. I don't like that. See how this looks? Okay. So this, you're not going to get all the hair. It's going to be really hard to get all the hair here. And I'm going to go select and hold on Shift, select and mask. See what I have. So you can see here, the hair is kind of difficult in these areas right here. You might not be able to do a lot with this because of just hair is really hard to get just stray hair. But I do want to get rid of some of this lightness here. And that doesn't actually look real bad. And I'm going to say OK again. And then I could see what this looks like. Cut her off, put her into the other rock. It's not too bad at all for hair. Pretty good job. So that's the technique. Now what you're going to be doing is cutting things out of images and making a collage. Some examples that I'll show you that have been done in the past. And I have some on the assignment on Canvas. Let's see what we have. Here's some from last semester. Open these up real fast. So you can see some samples of things that students have done in the past. So this was from last semester. Interesting, I just made them into JPEG so you can't see the layers. You get a look like this in a collage. Something like this, a lot of different pieces. There will be a specific number of different things that you have to cut out. At least a number, the least amount you can do. This is kind of interesting. And this one also is pretty interesting. So a lot of interesting things that we can do here. And that's about it. The other requirements I'll put in the assignment. Good luck, and I'll see you in class.